We are here in Quechee at Vermont Institute of Natural Science, also known as VINS. And today we are going to get as close as we can to a wild bald eagle family. And thanks to VINS, you can watch a live stream of the family on their nest. Windsor and Dewey's eaglet V2 hatched on April 24th.
So we're delighted to be able to show a successful nest from Windsor and Dewey and sort of see them as these wild ambassadors that they are for their species, witnessing how resilient these eagles are and yet how vulnerable it all is at the same time.
And it's a glimpse into nature that we don't often see with a bird that has a big personality in most people's minds.
But before I can see these eagles, we've got to climb 100 feet up to the top of the treehouse, which is on VINS Forest Canopy Walk.
So basically we'll go up to the top.
I'm just gonna conquer my fears, yes. I'm not afraid of heights.
It does move.
Okay.
So if you want me to go up first so you have your own movement, I can do that.
Going about 100 feet in the air, but it's worth it.
We are at the very top of the treehouse, or otherwise known as the tower.
To viewers of the Eagle Cam, you know this view. That's Dewey's Pond. That's the island in the center of it with the trees. It all looks so familiar, right?
So basically, the way I orient people is where that field comes down to a point. There's a big jumble of sticks. Sometimes with the naked eye, I will see a white head.
So it's really hard to film bald eagles that are 400 yards away from you. I've got a 70 to 200 millimeter lens, and I've got an extender on here that gets me to 280 millimeters. So with the help of the Eagle Cam, we could see that Dewey was feeding V2.
Yeah, he's still feeding V2 at the moment. Now it's particularly entertaining because we have this new life that's doubling in size each week, it seems, and we're seeing all this prey come to the nest, and so there's these sort of daily dramas that are enacted. The opportunity came up with the return of the eagles. We had nothing to do with Windsor and Dewey deciding that this is the place, this particular bend in the Quechee River on the VINS property is where they were going to come make their nest. They decided that, not this year, but last year. And I think it was about this point last year, while we were watching from here, I think by now we had seen the eaglet. We started thinking, how could we get closer? And so the Eagle Cam has really been an educational design based on the question, how can we educate people about eagles and really put them right there without interfering at all with the eagles?
Ended up having to design a 2-camera system that we then installed in early January when the eagles were less present. They've come back this year, refurbished the nest, added more material to it, and then laid an egg and now hatched it. VINS was founded in 1972 by 4 concerned citizens that wanted to clean up the Quechee River. Our mission is to motivate individuals and communities to care for the environment, and we do that through education, through research, and through avian wildlife rehabilitation.
We have this nature center on 47 acres. This is a really good place to come and be inspired, see our eagles on exhibit, see our bald eagles that have nested here, see all the other birds that are nesting here and all our other wildlife ambassadors as well. We're trying to move people to care actively about nature such that we can all protect it together.
The view itself of the big camera especially is stunning. So I know a lot of people, myself included, when I'm in my office, if I've got 2 screens, one of them just has the Eagle camera running.
It's been fun to watch the community rally around these two, and I like to think more broadly around the recovery of the bald eagle, which this is really about. We were interested in shining a spotlight on the bald eagle, not just because this is the 250th year of our country and it's the symbol, but also because we very nearly drove the bald eagle extinct. Yet we also had the power to make some decisions, get the poisons out of our food system to the extent that the bald eagles could come back. So that story is a really hopeful and compelling one. Part of the reason for telling it is that there are so many other species of birds who need that kind of story now.
The number of stories of people telling me, when I was younger, we never saw bald eagles here. And now, I can see them when I go out canoeing on the river and things like that. An all-around fabulous story of conservation success.
So I posted on the Friends of VINS Live Eagle Cam page on Facebook, which is basically the Eagles fan page. And I asked people where they watch from and why they watch. And I got a lot of responses. I wanted to give a shout out to everyone at Homestead Senior Living in St. Albans and all the first graders at State Street School in Windsor. People are hooked. They're viewing all over the state and beyond.
It's really healthy, positive screen time. And you can just have it on the background in your living room or your kitchen or wherever you have a screen and just listen to it. And particularly this time of year to hear all the new birds coming through, singing. And I think a lot of people are using our Eagle Cam that way, just to hear the sounds and to see the sights in the morning and the evening. What we decided to do was to give them place-based names. We landed on Windsor County and Dewey's Pond, which is consistent with the ways that we do naming. But then also at the same time, because we cannot really know that we'll ever see the eaglets again, that we wouldn't also give them a name. We're a research institute and we want to have the discipline of being reminded these are wild eagles, they're not people. We can't help but fall in love with this couple and fall in love with this eaglet and have all of those feelings that we have of projecting our own experience onto them. We have the responsibility at VINS to educate in such a way that we can preserve their integrity as bald eagles. Particularly at this latitude, with the kind of winters we get, for them to start nesting as soon as they possibly can to give their eaglet an opportunity to make it to flight and then to hunting before next winter. They had to start nesting in February when everything was completely locked up in ice. We've watched some drama at 100 feet or so above the forest floor. I mean, we had another giant flopping fish, hit the eaglet's head, and I took that video up close into our folks in rehab and said, does this look like a wound to you? And it did appear that way to us, but we did see the healing happen and didn't seem to affect it. But I'm sure our viewers, the viewers of the Eagle Cam, can attest that sometimes when the parents are away and you watch the eaglet teeter close to the edge of the nest and everyone's kind of heart drops, and we're witnesses to nature in this case. It's not sanitized in any way. It just is what it is. It's not a complete picture. It's only their life at the nest. I love to see her flying. It feels like a celebrity.
Then we saw Windsor soaring above, and there was a juvenile eagle who was making her very nervous. Windsor landed. The eagles let out some alerts.
What are they looking at and calling
Still
at?
upset.
We certainly hope that this eaglet will fledge successfully at the end of July, and also know that if we're lucky enough to be doing this 4 and 5 and 6 years from now, if they are able to stay healthy and keep coming back to the same nest, that at some point, some hard things to watch are going to happen. We've had 2 eagles recently in our rehab, one of which got shot and the other had been hit by a car. So there are plenty of threats out there, and so to see them so wild and healthy living their lives is a real joy.
You can watch the bald eagle family online 24 hours a day, or you can come to VINS and climb the treehouse and spy them from a distance. And we will get stuck in Vermont for you again real soon.
And I like to think of it in terms of the talons of these bald eagles that are just so incredibly strong and resilient and powerful. And then I also watch them sort of gently kind of roll the egg and very delicately move it out of the way. That mixture of fragility and resilience is just part of their lives.